It all begins with a seabird gliding over calm waters toward the dock of a quiet coastal town. 6 friends, Anna, Nick, Lisa, Jeff, Daisy, and Sam, are preparing for a small cruise trip, laughing and playfully bickering as they board the vessel. However, things take a strange turn when Anna drifts into a dream, finding herself alone on an empty beach. Jolting awake, she sees Lisa smiling and inviting her to sunbathe on the deck. But an unsettling sight catches Anna's eye, a seahorse floating eerily nearby, stirring a sense of dread within her. The calm doesn't last long, as Nick suddenly notices that the wind has stopped, and an ominous storm cloud rapidly approaches. Panic spreads as the sky darkens unnaturally fast. Nick hurriedly radios for help, but the response from the Coast Guard suggests everything is normal. Suddenly, a faint woman's cry for help crackles through the radio before the signal abruptly cuts off. Before they can process what's happening, fierce winds strike the crews, overturning the boat and throwing everyone into the churning sea. Amid the chaos, Daisy realizes that Lisa has vanished without a trace. Clinging to the capsized boat, the remaining friends spot the same seabird soaring overhead once more. To their astonishment, a massive cruise ship emerges from the mist, its towering silhouette casting an ominous shadow. Desperate for rescue, they wave frantically. Without another option, the group climbs aboard using the lowered gangway. Nick urges Anna to follow, but her unease deepens. Reluctantly, she joins them, only to find the deck eerily deserted. The ship's pristine condition and the absence of any crew send chills down their spines. While exploring the dimly lit corridors, Sam stumbles upon an old photograph of the cruise ship's original launch, with strange Greek symbols inscribed below it. Daisy, recalling fragmented myths, mutters something about an ancient promise left unfulfilled, though the details escape her. The group speculates wildly, did Lisa somehow board the ship first? If so, why hadn't she found them? Without answers, they press on, eventually entering a grand ballroom frozen in time. Crystal chandeliers gleam above perfectly arranged fruit platters, untouched delicacies, and polished musical instruments. Jeff casually checks the time, but Anna's watch reads 8:17 a.m., the exact moment the storm struck. Even the ship's compass aligns with this time, intensifying her creeping sense of unreality. Turning suddenly, Anna swears she sees a shadowy figure flicker in a nearby mirror. Dismissing her fears as paranoia, Nick urges her to stay calm, but their argument halts when they hear water running nearby. Following the sound, they discover it emanating from room 237. Inside, scrawled across the foggy bathroom mirror, are chilling words, "Go to the theater." Shocked, their minds reel as they struggle to comprehend the message. Anna, trusting her instincts, rushes back to find Daisy and Sam in the ballroom, urging them to leave. But Nick, convinced they must unravel the mystery, decides to investigate the theater alone. Meanwhile, Daisy and Sam, heeding Anna's warning, head toward the deck, only to stumble upon a blood trail leading to the theater entrance. Yet, when they arrive, neither Nick nor anyone else is in sight. Anna returns to the ballroom, only to discover her friends have vanished. Suddenly, a sharp noise behind her makes her whirl around. Jeff, drenched in blood, staggers toward her, his eyes wild. Desperate for answers, Anna confronts him, but he lunges instead, knocking her down. In a frantic struggle, Anna grabs a broken chair leg and, with one desperate swing, strikes Jeff's back. He collapses, motionless. Barely catching her breath, a gunshot echoes from the theater above. Heart pounding, Anna sprints toward the sound, only to find Nick lying in a pool of blood, his face frozen in shock. When Daisy suddenly rushed forward, she quickly defended herself, explaining she had been in the banquet hall the entire time and couldn't have hurt anyone. But Daisy and Sam didn't move an inch. They were convinced Anna was the one responsible. Sam demanded to know why Anna had called them to the hospital, but she insisted she never did. Suddenly, a bullet struck Daisy without warning, and Sam collapsed under gunfire as well. Terrified, Anna ducked behind a chair and spotted a masked man positioned above the seating area. While the masked man reloaded his weapon, Anna tried to pull Daisy to safety but was forced to retreat after another shot narrowly missed her. She sprinted out of the theater, heading straight for the kitchen, where she grabbed a knife and hid behind the counter, ready to fight back. Strangely, the masked man didn't follow her into the kitchen, giving her the chance to escape to the upper deck, where she had read about an emergency lifeboat. But when she reached the deck, there was no lifeboat in sight. Panic set in as she heard footsteps approaching. The masked man appeared again, gun in hand, and knocked Anna to the ground. She pleaded for mercy, but when the masked figure hesitated, Anna seized the moment, grabbing his wrist. In the struggle, she spotted a fireproof cover on the ground, quickly threw it to the side as a distraction, and tried to slip away. However, the masked man noticed her escape, and the two engaged in a fierce fight. Anna used the axe she had found earlier to push the masked man toward the ship's edge. With a final desperate move, Anna kicked the masked man into the sea. Suddenly, eerie singing echoed from the theater. Anna cautiously walked in and silenced the music, only to find herself staring at her own reflection in the mirror, her face pale with fear. Just as she tried to make sense of it, she heard someone shouting her name. When she ran out, she found herself face to face with her own companions, including Jeff, who looked equally terrified. It was clear they saw something horrifying, and Anna realized they were looking at her as though she were the threat. Anxious and confused, Anna hid nearby and observed quietly. To her horror, she watched her companions behaving exactly as they had earlier, almost as if everything was repeating itself. Even stranger, Anna saw herself among the group, confirming her worst fear: she was trapped in a time loop. While trying to escape unnoticed, her keychain accidentally fell, alerting the new group to her presence. Without wasting a second, Anna ran away and in her panic, ended up back in the banquet hall, her heart pounding. While hiding, she spotted another group of people arriving, just like before. But this time, she was more careful. However, things took a darker turn when Anna escaped to the deck and saw seagulls picking at Sam's lifeless body. Jeff suddenly appeared, and Anna, overwhelmed with fear, tried to explain everything: how the events kept repeating and how another version of herself was now running around the ship. Jeff, however, dismissed her explanation, thinking Anna had lost her mind. Desperate, Anna dragged Jeff toward the railing to show him Sam's body, but the seagulls had already devoured most of it. Anna continued her frantic explanation, insisting she had just seen Sam die in the banquet hall moments earlier, but Jeff refused to believe her, convinced she was hallucinating. In her desperation, Anna hugged Jeff, trying to calm him down, but during the struggle, Jeff stumbled and hit his head against the wall. Later she noticed something fall from his pocket, a necklace with a photo of his son. But when Anna looked down, she was shocked to see countless identical necklaces scattered across the floor. As she processed this strange sight, the necklace around her neck also fell off. Seeing the pile of necklaces triggered a flood of emotions in Anna. Thoughts of her son filled her mind, and she was overcome with heart-wrenching sadness. Determined to end this nightmare and return home, Anna grabbed a gun and headed back to the banquet hall. There, she found an injured Jeff along with another version of herself. Conflict raged inside her. Should she shoot the other Anna and end the cycle? Her hand trembled, and she couldn't bring herself to pull the trigger. The other Anna seized the opportunity and escaped. Desperate to explain everything to Jeff, Anna rushed after him, but gunshots echoed from the theater once again. When she got there, Nick was lying in a pool of blood. Without pausing, Anna shouted for Daisy and Sam, urging them to secure the theater and find the others. She handed Sam the gun and warned them not to trust anyone. Though confused, they followed Anna's urgent instructions. Anna hurried back to the banquet hall, only to find Sam dead, this time from a stab wound. Meanwhile, Daisy managed to reach the escape room, where she found the ship's emergency radio. She quickly sent out a distress signal, and to her surprise, Nick's voice answered from the other end. But before Daisy could explain everything, she heard Anna's voice calling her name. Mistaking it for the real Anna, Daisy ran toward the sound, unaware it was the masked man mimicking her voice. The moment Anna reached the broadcast room, she heard Nick's voice urging her to return to shore immediately. But before she could respond, the radio suddenly went dead, leaving her stranded once more in the nightmare loop. Anna decided to head to the deck to search for Daisy, but when she arrived and saw the screen there, she was horrified. The view was grim, with countless bodies of Daisy scattered across the deck, while seabirds pecked at the remains. Anna had not yet told Daisy the truth. The sounds of a violent struggle reached her ears. It was as though the scene unfolding before her eyes mirrored an earlier, terrifying experience. Only this time, Daisy was in shock, and with her passing, everyone from the second group, except for Anna, had been killed. A new third group of people had now arrived on the cruise, and Anna realized that countless versions of herself were following behind, watching her from afar. Panicked, Anna rushed to the engine room in a desperate attempt to stop the ship, but she soon realized she was powerless to do anything. In a moment of horror, she saw Anna 2 meeting Anna 3, both in the midst of doing exactly what she had been trying to do. To break the endless cycle, Anna dragged Sam's lifeless body to room 237 and used his blood to scrawl "Opera House" on the mirror. She then tossed his body into the sea. Returning to the banquet hall, Anna found herself facing another round of Sam and Daisy. She told them to head to the opera house to meet with the others, knowing that this was the only way to change the course of events and break the cycle. Determined, she changed into the ship's crew uniform and helmet, believing it might be the only way to end it all. She encountered Nick, who had been the first to lead the group to the theater, along with Sam and Daisy, who had also arrived as instructed. The three of them waited in the theater for the others to join. As Nick turned, he saw a masked figure with a gun aimed at him. Desperate, he begged for mercy, but noticed something strange. The shoes the masked figure wore were identical to Anna's. That small detail confirmed to Nick that it was Anna standing before him. But there was no time for explanations. The scene ended tragically with Nick's death. The cycle began again, with Nick, Sam, and Daisy still trapped in their fate. The three of them took their meals, and Anna followed along, knowing that another version of herself was lurking in the kitchen with a knife. She went to the deck, ready to defend herself. Anna was beaten into submission, begging for mercy, but in a flash of anger, she attacked. The cycle seemed unbreakable, and once again, Anna was thrown into the sea. When she opened her eyes, she found herself on the beach of a small town. Desperate to escape, Anna ran towards her house, hoping to find her child. Upon seeing her son, she believed she had finally broken free from the cycle, but quickly realized that another version of herself had appeared, and the cycle was far from over. Her son, frightened by the sight of her, turned over the paint, and in that moment, Anna slapped him across the face. The version of herself outside the window regretted her actions, and with determination, she resolved to change everything. Anna rushed to the doorbell, and then hurried to the warehouse behind the house, where she found a hammer. When she returned to the room, however, she found no one. But upon returning, she was attacked by the hammer-wielding figure. She told her son it was all just a dream, that she wanted to stop it all. She donned her necklace, dragged the body into the trunk of the car, and drove off with her child, hoping to escape. But the car struck a seagull. Anna picked up the dead bird and threw it toward the shore, where she heard music playing, exactly the same tune that had been heard on the cruise ship. At that moment, she noticed more seagulls, still alive. The scene reminded her of the crowd on the cruise, and in fear, she drove away as fast as she could, desperately trying to escape. But the blood on the window made her anxious, and in her distracted state, she crashed into an oncoming truck. Around her, the people and scenery were eerily the same, Anna in her long skirt, with her child by her side. As the crash occurred, the sky darkened. Anna, who had returned from the cruise, stood by, watching everything unfold. She realized, with a shock, that she had died in a car accident at 8 a.m. The driver behind her informed her that her son had passed, but that he could take her to the dock. Anna chose to let the driver take her there, and along the way, the driver spoke a sentence that stunned her to the core, making her realize that she was dead. This was her final opportunity to say goodbye, a farewell granted by the god of the dead. But Anna had defied the warning of the dead god. She had chosen to go to sea with her friends, trying to avoid her fate, a decision that sealed her doom. This also explained the different ways of dying on the cruise. Many wondered why Anna had no memory when she set sail. The editor theorized that with each cycle's end, the dead god erases Anna's memory, setting her up for a new round of the cycle. Each time, Anna falls into the trap again, knowing she can't escape but still choosing to return, perhaps because of her deep attachment to her son. The film contains many unexplained details, some of which are frustrating to understand. If you don't quite grasp it all, watching it again may help. In the film, Anna's struggles and despair reflect the challenges and struggles of our own lives. The endless cycle she faces symbolizes the human battle with destiny and the weakness of the will. Even when we want to break free from our limitations, reality often entangles us. This is not just a frightening mystery but a hidden desire for freedom. The film reminds us that we will face repeated failures in our lives, but it is our will and self-reliance that guide us. Though we may not be able to control our fate completely, we can change how we approach it and walk our path with determination and wisdom.